So today I wanted to do a video which was a little bit different. As you probably know, I've done lots and lots of transport style videos, and at the end of the day, this video channel is called Talking Planning, so I wanted to talk about that for a change. Cheers. So one of the questions I used to get asked a lot was when I introduced myself and people were like, oh, what do you do? So I said, I'm a town planner. And there were two responses I got. The first one was, so you plan towns. What does that mean? And then, of course, you have the lengthy ongoing conversation about the basics of what your job actually is. And for most people, it does this. But for some, they do get it, and it's quite an interesting, engaging conversation when it goes from there. The other answer I often got was, is that like SimCity? And today, we're going to go and find out. Alrighty, so I have loaded up a game of SimCity, and let's start seeing how this relates to my actual planning career. So we've got a little town, one of the default ones that I've just started building on, called Mountain Core. I haven't renamed it yet, but that might be a good idea in the future. So if you've got a name suggestion, pop it down below if you want to keep seeing this town grow. So we've just picked a fairly standard little lot. This one's got the highway running straight through the middle, which I'm not sure if that's a good future-proofing choice, but we'll soon see. Now I should point out I am by no means a competitive gamer, so if you're expecting me to have amazing gaming skills, and even amazing SimCity skills, this is probably not the channel. But I'm enjoying, having a little bit of time in game because, realistically, I don't game a lot, but that probably will start to change, as we have good reason to stay home. So let's maybe pop in a couple of parks. Ooh, a skate park. I reckon a skate park would go down a treat. Park there, park there. Yeah, I think a skate park. Right. Would be good. Lovely. I popped that one away from the road. That was a mistake. Oh well. That's not what I meant to do, but anyway. So, let's see what... I forget when you play a new game, you get all those pop-ups. Let's see what this guy wants. Let's ask later. It's a bit pushy. We've got 1,200 people. Yeah, it's a fairly small town. So let's talk about zoning. I haven't zoned much land recently, but let's give that a crack now. We've got a bit of land here. So, in SimCity, you've got 3 zones: RCI, residential, commercial, industrial. And funnily enough, the actual planning industry isn't all that different, particularly in New South Wales, where we've got residential zones, which start with an R. We've got commercial zones, which are business-based and start with a B. And we've got industrial zones, which start with an IN. Now, some of these are set to change a little soon. We've also got environmental zones, of course, and waterways zones, which are W-based. But, principally, we've got a fairly simple zoning system based around, simple letter-based codes. So let's pop up some street density there. And see what we can do. Oh, I was already at medium density, wasn't I? Yeah, never mind. Oh well, got some extra upgrades. This is, a good little game, I think. And I know someone's going to say, oh, Cities Skylines is a lot better than SimCity. Trust me, I've heard it many times. I'd like to try, but I think I need to wait till the next pay period for that to happen. But, you know, I think it's always good to play these sort of city games and see how they compare to my actual work. The interesting observation is how much harder it is to zone land in real life than it is in a game. There are quite a few differences when it comes to zoning. Don't need another point. Let's go and pop in and add another wind turbine on here. Build an access road. I quite enjoy this game. It's one I don't get to play all that often. And it's really fun to explore the differences between SimCity and real urban planning, because there are some pretty noticeable ones. And here, I've decided to pop in some electric car charging, which is great. Wow, okay, that's excited a lot of people. That's good. You know, I think it's quite a fun game, and it, you know, serves as a pretty good learning curve. Yeah, it's very simplistic compared to the actual, you know, planning ecosystem. But it is a lot of fun. Oh, let's see, a city hall module. What have we got? Finance, safety, Department of Tourism, transportation, Simcopter 1. Nah, we don't need that. That's way too showy and silly. Now we've got to talk about good public spending outcomes. So what are the key differences do I see? Well, first of all, having this ultimate control is pretty amazing. You know, the real planning system in terms of, you know, government-based systems, unfortunately, you know, you don't just have ultimate control, and there are certainly limits to what you can do. But that being said, it's a lot of fun, and there are lots of interesting things that I think, you know, SimCity lets you experience, and it is a good way to get a taste for the basics of this industry. I think the Maxis interpretation of planning, which, you know, SimCity was developed by Maxis, is a little interesting at times, and it's very American. But I think it holds quite true in some ways. You can't just upgrade things that are in real life, of course, you know, but a lot of the considerations that this game has are things that are quite conceivable, you know, in real life. Let's see how the city's growing. Quite nicely, 2,080 people. Wow, that's impressive. What's this guy want? This guy wants a railway, doesn't he? Yeah, I think we're a little bit. Not quite there yet. Oh, more commercial demand. That's interesting. We often don't get that. That's cool. I think you get more commercial demand in this game than you get in real life, which is always an interesting observation. And I realised I have done a terrible job of zoning this because there's no space there for two lots of buildings. Oh well. What I have done, though, which you might notice, is I've got this interface here where I've got lots of industrial uses. I've got some commercial before I get to the residential. Now, this is pretty common planning practice and probably advised because industrial uses tend not to be particularly clean. So it's quite common to prefer having some sort of interface between that industrial land here. I mean, as we can see, there's burger supplies, hair glue factory, shrapnel ammo and health co. solvents and cream company, which I'm sure are extremely environmentally clean uses right here. Oh, and then you get these like waste pile-ups. Let's see if we can get rid of that. These are just sort of like fillers that take up land that hasn't been used. So sometimes you can get rid of those and you've got a bit more space, which is great. Let's see what we've got. Man, still need more employment land. That's crazy. Let's pop some over here though, so that we can put more jobs close to homes, which seems to be a favourite saying at the moment of many politicians. Let's see, a bit more commercial. Tell you what I do want. I want some density. Let's try and get some more density going. So another question you might be asking is, why do planners like density? And there's some pretty good reasons for it. When it comes to city design, density is good for the environment as well as good for making sure that infrastructure provision can be carried out more affordably. The denser your area, it's easier to provide more connections, and that's part of the goal of planning, is to help the efficient use of land. And that's something density helps us deliver. Come on, zone me more land. I do love these diagnostic maps, and it's something I wish we actually could have in the real world. Wouldn't it be great if you could find out what communities actually use just by popping in a really cool map? Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work that way, even though we really wished it did. At least we've got plenty of parks, a bit of greenery, becoming quite pretty in this little town. So, I think we'll leave it here. I've gone over a few basics, and I think we should talk about a few more planning concepts in SimCity in another episode. So, if you've got any ideas, pop them down below. If you've got any concepts you want me to see, pop them down below. And if you've got any ideas for this little SimCity city, let me know. And if you think there's any other great planning style games or general games which have some really cool cities in them that you think I could check out in a planning context, let me know down below. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you again soon.